Well, it's that time once again, folks. It's time for the Dixie Football Fanatics, hosted by none other than Chet and Bill.
What's going on, Chet?
Bill, I am so happy to be in studio, or actually in this bedroom. Well, wait a minute. In our
bedroom, not our bed, in Chet's palatial mansion.
Well, it's in
It's a nice
our
house,
it's in our recording studio. That's what I say, right, Bill?
It's the Dixie Fanatics Week 2 college football, getting into the full swing of things. We're going into Week 3 this weekend. Hey, we got Auburn Thursday night. Is that this week?
No, Auburn's off this week, Bill. You ought to know that. You're a big football fan. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're an Alabama fan, not an Auburn fan. And
you think I keep up with them Auburn guys?
We keep up with them just enough to know that we're hoping somebody beats them, right?
I'm rooting against them is what I'm doing.
That's
right,
speaking of last week,
that's right, Stan.
AU fan. I actually changed his name. I don't think it's AU fans anymore.
It's Auburn.
Talking Tigers.
Talking Auburn Tigers.
If you hadn't listened to that podcast, people, you ought to listen to it. Stan's a good buddy of ours. He's a big Auburn fan, and he enjoys talking Auburn football. And you want to talk about he's at his website. You can send in see if you can stump Stan or whatever. It's kind of interesting. But
but we are Dixie Football Fanatics. Like I said, going into Week 2. We used to be called what? The
Chet and Bill Show. That really gave away exactly what we were doing, didn't it, Bill? The Chet and Bill Show.
Very descriptive. Well, not really.
Well, it's Chet and it's Bill.
We were beginners. This is year 2.
Still beginners, but we're having fun.
Seasoned beginners.
Oh, what'd you do with put the webpage back up? Oh, there we go. Recapping last week, Bill, could you get any worse of a conference schedule, or football schedule for the SEC than what we had last week?
I don't think you could because, some of these teams that the powerhouses SEC teams played were just, pitiful. Or really, they were glorified scrimmages.
Not even that, Bill. They weren't a glorified. Alabama and Florida Atlantic.
Florida Atlantic?
Florida Atlantic? What's their nickname?
They're the Owls.
The Owls, Owls. When I think of owls, I think of animals that don't move much. They sitting there in a tree and these big eyes, and I think that's what happened with Florida Atlantic. They had these big eyes as they're getting run over by Alabama.
Yeah, they may be wise owls, but they were stomped by some big crimson elephants.
Ain't that the truth? They even called that game early, and it's 41-0, right?
Yeah, 41-0, 7 minutes left in the game. There's a little lightning in the area. They mutually agreed to call it a game.
Well, why restart a game after that big a delay and you're down 41? There's no use, right? So it made sense other than the fans.
Fans wanted to see some of the backups, a lot of the depth, all the guys that don't get in the games much, maybe missed some playing time. But anyway,
some of those 3-star guys of Alabama instead of the 4s and 5s, right?
I think a lot of them are going to get to play this week, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Southern Mississippi coming for a big battle at Bryant-Denny.
Golden something or another.
Golden Eagles.
There we go.
But back to your initial lead in there. The slate of games, in comparison to Week 1, was just a huge letdown. Full stride cupcake schedule all across the conference.
There was one or two potentially good games. A lot of people thought Toledo. Some of our friends would call them UT. I don't call anybody really UT other than Tennessee and Texas, but Toledo goes by UT. And that was supposed to have been some, kind of a game maybe for Missouri, and Missouri kind of waxed them too, right?
Yeah, a competitive game, 14-7 in the first quarter, Missouri, 28-7 at half. But
Matty Mock.
Matty Mock, I think he had tossed 5 TDs, so, he is...
was it 5?
That's what I'm seeing right here.
Wow.
I've got some stats right here. You want stats?
Nah, I don't know. The stats, the whole stats.
Well, Missouri, number 24 in one of the ratings, but not a good game overall. One one game that was of interest to Chet and Bill and a lot of our listeners was Tennessee-Arkansas State, which was
more of interest
ended
to
up
me.
being 34-19. The Vols go to 2-0, but we knew Arkansas State would give them a pretty good game.
Well, Arkansas State, I was really thinking Arkansas State wasn't going to be as good as Utah State, but turned out, watching the game, I was more impressed with Arkansas State. Actually, Arkansas State scored first in that game. They held a 7-0 lead on Tennessee, and then Tennessee gets a big play, gets down there, cuts it to 7-3, and then Tennessee takes over. And I really thought they had a shot to blow that game open, and they didn't do it. They lost a couple more players to injury, which is not a good thing. One of them, Von Pearson, which is Von's a JUCO wide receiver, really talented individual.
How bad's he hurt, Chet?
He is going to be out probably until the Georgia game, I would imagine. And the tight end that got hurt may play this week. So luckily, neither one of these were season-ending injuries. But still, they're still trying to put together an offensive line, and not finding an offensive line is not a good time to go into Oklahoma without a good offensive line. But anyway, that's next week. So
we'll get on to that. But yeah, Tennessee gets the win. Mississippi State gets the win against a pesky, if I should say,
scrappy,
much improved
pesky, yeah.
UAB Blazer team. 20 points for UAB in the first half, 26 for State. So there you had a real competitive game. State pulled away in the third, but yeah, Mississippi State.
We're going to find out what State and Zach or Dak or whatever Prescott's name is. Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott when they gonna play LSU here in a couple of weeks. So that'll be a real test for the Bulldogs to see if the Bulldogs are actually going to be competitors for the West.
I think you're right about that. I mean, there's so many strong teams in the West. Going on with a recap, Kentucky gets a ho-hum win, 20-13 over Ohio University.
But Ohio University is maybe not that bad. Don't they have like a guy that used to coach at the Cornhuskers? Am I right about that one?
Frank Solich?
I think it's Solich, isn't it? I think they got a decent, scrappy football team.
1-0 in the MAC, but
we'll find out about Kentucky this week. They play the Gators. The Gators.
Yeah, speaking of Gators' first game of the year after the canceled game last week that was going to be played against Idaho, taking on perennial cellar dweller in football, Eastern Michigan. They win 65-0, Chet.
65-0, the Florida Gators. I think they lost one of their defensive tackles or something in that game too, didn't they? Or out for a few weeks anyway. But yeah, I mean, that's not Eastern Michigan. I mean, again, folks, this was a bad week. Arkansas played Nicholls State. Nicholls. That's not like dimes and nickels. That's Nicholls State.
I remember Jacksonville State and UNA used to play Nicholls State.
Where is Nicholls? That's not a state. Nicholls is not a state.
It's a state college, and it's
Nicholls State.
I'm a little stumped here. It's either I'm wanting to say Louisiana.
We'll say
or Louisiana or Arkansas. Anyway, 73-50. Arkansas put up 56 in the first half. So
that's like playing.
Pounded
our 1979 Johnson Jaguar teams, of which you was a starting left tackle on, might have played Arkansas as good a game as Nicholls State did.
I'm not going to go that far, Chet. When we had 2 or 3 200-pounders, and then we had
you had Adcock on that
like
time that made it. Adcock made all SEC for Alabama. Donnie Humphrey played at Auburn. Chris Martin played at Auburn.
Right.
Ralph Battle played. He played some college and some pro. And then you had who else did we have? We had Clarence Thomas in the running back. Set all types of records over at UNA.
11-2.
Think about
state
that.
Semifinals.
That's why I was on the left end of the bench.
You held it.
I held it down.
So well.
Actually, I stood up. I didn't really sit on the bench. I stood the whole game, and close to the sidelines.
It
Takes all types, right,
to
Bill?
make a team, but we digress. Back to Dixie Football Fanatics. Chet, I'm not going to talk about that game in Nashville yet, but I see where South Carolina got a win against East Carolina.
I watched some of that game.
In a pretty good little game.
A pretty good little game. Nothing. I mean, East Carolina had their shots to beat South Carolina at Columbia, and that's right now. You know, before the season started, knowing my Tennessee team and things, I'm thinking, well, Columbia is going to be a loss for Tennessee. Right now, I'm liking Tennessee's chances when they travel to Columbia.
Yeah, South Carolina's defense is what folks are talking about is a real disappointment this year, and their offense is coming along, but their defense.
The offense is fair. I mean, 33 on East Carolina. I mean, almost. And look, 3 points in the fourth quarter when the game is on the line. I mean, they're not finishing. And how about that San Jose State putting 13 points on Auburn?
Yeah, I was actually flipping a little on the dial, and I saw San Jose score there. They on a nice long pass play, but yeah, the Spartans of San Jose came cross country and ended up with a pretty bad beatdown, 59-13. But Auburn just keeps rolling along.
Auburn's got a good football team.
They're very, very solid everywhere you look. So.
They got to go.
Are rolling.
You mentioned Kansas State a little there. Roll Tigers. That's kind of a mix-up in it. Auburn plays Kansas State the week after next on Thursday. Not this Thursday night, but next Thursday night.
I gotcha.
And Kansas State didn't look that good this past week, I don't believe. We once thought was going to be a good game, may not be that good a game, and Auburn may plow them under as well. The Cal College may plow them under.
We'll see about that.
I shouldn't call them a Cal College, should I?
Yeah.
Not from Auburn people. It's the Tigers.
Yeah, two more dogs for you. LSU 56-10 over Sam Houston.
Sam
Houston State.
Is it State or just? It used to be Sam Houston State, didn't it?
Sam Houston takes a beating, and our old buddy Lamar gets beat down by Texas A&M.
That's almost bad as playing William and Mary. You can play William and Mary Lamar. Take your pick. Where'd that come from?
I don't know, but maybe they'll play later this year, and we'll
William
not
and Mary
talk
Lamar.
about it.
Well, Texas A&M. What was that? Am I seeing 73-3?
73-3 there. So
again. But the barn burner of the weekend, the only SEC matchup this past weekend was the Ole Miss Black Bears. Isn't it the Black Bears? Against the Vanderbilt
the Rebels.
Commodores.
Rebels, always the Rebels.
The Commodores.
Got a bogus mascot of a black bear, but yeah, the Vandy's the mess. I mean, Ole Miss is in Nashville is old Vandy mess.
Oh man, it's just terrible.
Vandy.
Vandy
being Vandy.
Vandy's back to being Vandy or worse right now. I don't know what's going on up in Nashville, but it ain't good.
I mean, when you have Bo Wallace come to town and he does not throw an interception, he's 23 of 30 for 320 yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions. You're doing something not too good.
You're not doing very good. No, look at what about Vandy's? Tell me about Vandy's offense, Bill. What did Vandy's offense do?
Vandy's offense is offensive. It stinks. Their quarterback is, I don't know if you know this, but it's Stephen Rivers, who is out of
Athens.
Well, I know he was at Austin High. I think he played at Austin. I don't know because his brother played at. His brother is the San Diego
Chargers.
Phillip. But Stephen transferred over from LSU, graduated down there, and he's got the starting job at Vandy. But 6 of 25 for 60 yards ain't going to cut it.
No.
He's
I actually heard that there's a Vanderbilt fan took off his shirt and hat and threw it on the ground and walked out.
I saw that picture on Twitter. I mean, when you strip down to the waist and throw your team's gear on on the playing field and walk off. That's a statement right there.
That is a major statement of disgust.
That's enough talking about that debacle, but but yeah,
not
Chet,
a good week. Yeah.
I want to touch before we move on to this week. Alabama did win 41-0, just about what the point spread was, which is another matter for you gamblers out there. I don't know how they handled the line there, but it was pretty much a quarterback passing audition type scrimmage because Alabama did not run the ball that much Saturday. Of course, Jake Coker got extensive playing time in this week too, along with Phillip Sims, and a mixed report card on these two. Coker showed a lot of signs of rust, threw a bunch of balls downfield with mixed success, ended up 15 out of 24, 202 yards, did get a touchdown. Sims was more of a ball control, short passing day. Little outs to Cooper. Amari Cooper, big day, 13 catches.
What do you expect?
I mean, this guy, he's not surprising anybody.
Great athlete.
They're getting him out at, if you're going to play off the line of scrimmage, this guy, I mean, he's money. He's going to burn you.
He's an excellent football player, but again, and I expect Amari Cooper. I expect Amari Cooper to do this against good teams, maybe even great teams. I mean, it doesn't matter who Amari plays. He's a great football player, but the problem is that was Florida Atlantic.
I agree.
Big stats go against weak teams.
It was more of a.
What do you have in the bowl game against Oklahoma? That's more indicative.
I don't know. I think he had a pretty decent game,
that's because he really is a good football player.
And even the year before, he had a big game against Notre Dame. Last year, he was hurt, but anyway, he came through later in the year. But yeah, Alabama's quarterback battle was a big discussion this week. And
it's not a battle. The coaches.
Well, it is a battle.
We'll see. It's not.
I think.
Okay. It's not a battle. I mean, it is a battle. Excuse me.
What are your thoughts on the quarterback situation in Alabama?
At Alabama, my thoughts of the quarterback situation at Alabama is right. Until proven otherwise, it's Blake Sims. I mean, he's a fifth-year senior. He is not making mistakes. Alabama's win all bets. You haven't played anybody. West Virginia was a decent game, but you don't have a good. You got another audition this week with the Southern Mississippi Golden Eagles, who won one game in 2 years. That's another great game this week.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, they're telling me what? It's going to be a good game.
Alabama ought to win that game.
Yeah, Alabama ought to win that game. 35,
I agree with
40
you.
points.
I mean, Sims has showed us much more than was expected, and people say, well, hey, this guy's been down there 5 years, and nobody's has any expectations. Well, if you saw him play in his only significant time was the spring game, which is a spring game.
It's a spring
game. It's a different thing, but he's running the offense. The team's playing hard for him. He's making a lot of good decisions, making throws. They're not. They're keeping him on a leash. Like they did McCarron. He's not throwing. That's the thing that a lot of folks are thinking. We've heard about this Coker guy, his arm, with the weapons Alabama has, you want to get the ball downfield, Chet. And they're not letting Sims
I hand the ball off to
down
Henry. I hand off to T.J. Yeldon. I hand off the ball to other Kenyon Drake.
When you get to
Armani Cooper coming across the middle. It don't have to be a deep pass with that guy's talent.
When you get to stepped up schedule in Florida and then Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, Tennessee.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that.
I mean, you're going to Knoxville this year,
so let's see what we do with
Bama's going to have to open it up, and that's what I'm interested to see. I think in either case, we may see two quarterbacks playing a little bit through the rest of the year. But anyway, I'm liking how Sims is playing. So
well, let's talk Tennessee's
enough.
Quarterback position. We ought to get to Tennessee sometime. We've been about 10 minutes on Alabama. We spent 10 minutes on Alabama. Then they're the second team in the country. Tennessee is, they're struggling. They're trying to get something done here. You guys are already getting it done.
I think we've talked for 4 or 5 minutes about Arkansas State.
No, we did not either. You can go check the time if you want to. We'll click her back and see. But no, we talked briefly about it. So
well, then Tennessee wins. That's all I know is they won.
But we can read statistics on Alabama against Florida Atlantic. This is Armani Cooper had 13 catches for this many yards.
I pride myself as being the Alabama specialist of the Football Fanatics.
But at the same time, my team ought to be talking to sometime.
I'm handing off to you for the Big Orange report.
Here's
Chet Young with Big Orange report. Take it away, Chet.
You gave me about 2 minutes a minute ago on Arkansas State game.
Bill, I heard about everybody that got hurt in that game.
Really? What did you really hear about, Bill? What did you really hear?
Folks don't want to hear us arguing.
Think about it.
Tell me about the game.
About the game? I don't necessarily talk about the game. I want to talk about. See, now you won't let me talk. See, now there we go. See,
I'm a fanatic, man.
You're
I don't know when to
stop. Yeah, I know it. Obviously, you keep going on Bama, but you don't. Just like my Vols, it's like, it's Tennessee, it's Alabama, but it's Alabama. It's all about the Tide. It's all about Blake Sims and Coker. Who's going to be the guy? So, I understand. I mean, that is the controversy going on with the Tide right now. Now, I always get this going. So
we're not on TV, Chet.
Yeah, I know, but I'm sitting there thinking, okay, let's get on some other things.
I'm ready to hear some game analysis from Tennessee. And
game analysis from Tennessee? You want some game analysis? We're playing Oklahoma this week. We're actually playing a football team this week. Actually playing a ranked top 5 football team, which is what not many people in the conference are doing that this week. We're going out to Oklahoma to play a real football game. And Tennessee is probably going to get beat, Bill, by 17 to 24 points. That's just the way it is. Their offensive line is weak. Their defense is good. Tennessee's defense is good. I expect them to slow Oklahoma down. But the problem is if you're not able to score and they score 21, you're beat by 21. So, I think Tennessee's everybody knows they got a tough row to hoe, so to speak. They're shifting around that offensive line, but they do have wide receivers coming out the yin-yang, so to speak. We got a guy that I'll match up with Armani Cooper and Marquez North. 2 beautiful touchdown passes. If you did not see the highlights, beautiful touchdown passes from Justin Worley to Marquez North in the end zone. Great passes. Tennessee had a good game against Arkansas State, but it's off to Oklahoma. I don't expect them to beat Oklahoma as much as I'd like for that to happen, obviously. So,
can I talk now?
I don't know if we're gonna talk Bama. What are we gonna flip? What are we gonna talk?
I'm talking Tennessee, Oklahoma. I mean, this is a big Big 12 SEC match. Going to be a night game in Norman, and Tennessee is showing me something this year. I mean, they've got some good skilled position players, like you just described, North and Pearson.
Pearson's not playing, but it hurts that he's not playing.
But
Jalen Hurd.
Jalen Hurd is a good. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him as a true freshman. And Worley, Worley's night and day from what I saw last year.
Good year so far.
So stranger things have happened, but Oklahoma at home. It's going to be a tough thing to
Oklahoma's
to overcome.
They're the one team in the Big 12 that actually is more like an SEC football team. Period. Right? I mean, who else in the Big 12 is like an SEC powerhouse?
I'd agree with you there. Oklahoma would be. When you look at other parts of the conference, there Baylor's the toss it and throw it, and every time you turn around with good success. Oklahoma State's kind of the same way. Up and down the field. Texas is. Did you know that Texas was destroyed by BYU?
Yes.
Second year in a row.
2 years in a row, right? They got beat 41 to nothing or something? It was embarrassing, and it was at home. It was at home. I mean, I guess Mac Brown didn't leave. What's his name?
Charlie Strong.
Charlie Strong. I guess Mac Brown didn't leave Charlie Strong that much talent. And Charlie Strong cleaned house at Texas, right? I think he's setting some new standards for the Texas football players. He kicked several guys off the team, and he must have kicked some good ones off because, man, they were left with a beat down by Brigham Young.
Yeah, I mean, folks are going to have to, I guess, temper their enthusiasm out in Longhorn country, but with the new coach coming in, and I kind of was taken aback by that beat down, and I just thought Strong, he was doing some good things there in the camp, but when they get out on the field, not so good. So
it's amazing you can recruit like Texas and end up being that down, right? I mean, I can understand like what Tennessee went through because we went through several coaches. I mean, they've had Mac Brown forever until they got Charlie Strong, and so it's like, but how did their talent level get so far down that Texas is that bad?
Mm-hmm. Well, on the other side of the state, I mean, Texas A&M is the surprise team, would you say, of the conference? Because just coming off the opening night beatdown of South Carolina and Columbia.
They may be the best team in the conference right now. I mean, it's hard to, They beat. What we don't know is really how good South Carolina is, right? Because South Carolina got thumped by A&M. We thought, well, A&M's that good, right? But then South Carolina plays East Carolina, and they struggle with East Carolina, and it's like, well, maybe South Carolina's not that good.
They aren't. They aren't what we thought they were, especially on defense. But A&M is the real deal on offense. I think it's safe to say that. We're not going to see a whole lot more this week because they're playing Rice. I don't know if that's white rice or brown rice, but
it's rice. Rice box, man. I mean, rice in a box. They're going to be boxed in by the Texas A&M Aggies. It's not going to be pretty. That's 35, 40 points again, Bill. Spread?
I would think so. I'm only seeing a 32-point.
Only
a 32-point favorite A&M. Yeah. So, but there's another team that gets a lot of mention for the best team in the conference, maybe at this point, and that's the Georgia Bulldogs, who are going in to play South Carolina this week and favored by only 7 points.
I could see them winning that game by 17 right now. I would put not that I'd put money on a game, Bill, but I would say with Todd Gurley, right? I got that one right, didn't I? Gurley and Hudson Mason, the quarterback for the Bulldogs.
Hudson Mason,
yeah.
Right?
So I put Georgia's got a good offense. I think Georgia's finally got a defense to go with it. Georgia's going to be hard to beat. Georgia wins that game. I mean, and Spurrier loses his second game during the regular season for the first time in 3 years or four.
But you know as well as I do that we've almost maybe seen this song before because Georgia comes out like gangbusters.
Seen a song? You hear a song.
Heard the song. Seen this movie before. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is Georgia is liable to lay an egg one of these weeks.
Not going to lay an egg this week. That ain't happening.
Well.
Ain't happening.
I'm just saying.
Hey, by the way, I don't like just saying. That's a pet peeve, man. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. You just believe that Georgia may lay an egg. That's what you believe.
Bill Day. I'm gonna get fanatical on you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Chet likes Georgia big, folks.
Yeah, I do.
Give up the points is pretty much what he's saying. If he was a betting man,
I'm going with the Bulldogs.
Wink. No.
Yeah, wink.
Another good. Yeah, that's going to be the CBS game.
Auburn,
we got
hey,
CBS coming on this week.
Arkansas, Texas Tech might be an interesting game.
Yeah, it might be, Chet.
You don't think so?
Leach ain't the coach over at Tech anymore, but they are 2-0, and Tommy Tuberville ain't there no more either.
Tommy's not there. Tommy T is at Cincinnati.
That's right.
Cincinnati. You didn't think I knew that, did you, Bill?
Chet. But Arkansas got it going with the 73 points, big ground game, and Tech's coach Cliff Kingsbury is he likes to throw it around. So you're going to have a passing team against a running team. So that's going to be a good one.
And Arkansas is favored by 2. Am I reading that right? Texas Tech -2. That means Arkansas is favored by 2, right?
No, Texas Tech favored by 2, -2.
They're taking 2 away. Yeah, okay. I told you I don't bet. I don't know how to read lines. Just tell me who's favored. That's
63.5 points is your over and under, which is the combined.
I got that part. Over and under. Yeah,
both teams.
You can bet it's going to be over, or you can bet it's going to be under.
That
right?
one is
combined score.
That one's down for ABC TV, being a Big 12.
All right.
Another Big 12. Hey, another Big 12 SEC game with Arkansas and Tech and Tennessee, Oklahoma. What else we got coming up?
Let's talk about that big game up in Nashville between Massachusetts and the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Yeah, that would be a heck of a basketball matchup right there. But it's Chet, over and under on the crowd, I'm going to say maybe 12,000.
That's going to be horrible.
In a 40, maybe 15,000.
That's going to be horrible.
In a 40,000.
And the sad thing is Vanderbilt may lose that game. Really may lose that game. What's that?
Vanderbilt is favored, get this, 17 points.
Vanderbilt ain't scored 17 points in 2 games, Bill.
Massachusetts has lost to Boston College and to Colorado.
On the end around, and he's in.
Hey, he's in.
He's in, folks. Bill clicked on this page in ESPN or something. A little clip popped up.
Yeah, it's Pick on Bill Day on the Fanatics show. But yeah, I mean, I'm liking UMass to cover the spread. 17 points. I don't know. They scored 38 against Colorado. Chet, I don't want to talk about Vandy anymore. Can we move on?
I would say that the Missouri UCF game.
Missouri.
The show me football team.
What's their chant? It's like Mizzou. I say Miz. You don't.
I don't know the chant. They're playing the UCF Knights, right? Do I have that right? UCF. That's Central Florida.
They're the Golden Knights.
Golden Knights. Okay. Well, anyway, that actually UCF has had a pretty good football team. They took Penn State down to the wire over in Ireland, right? Didn't they play that ball game in Ireland? I'm pretty sure they did somewhere. They at least across the pond or somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Gonna be a good.
That ought to be a good football game.
Missouri favored by 10 at home, so I wouldn't be surprised that's a little closer ball game.
Ole Miss goes to 3-0 with a win over Louisiana Lafayette.
You giving it to them, Chet?
I'm giving it to them. They're favored by 28.
Yeah, Lafayette.
Yeah, Lafayette. Louisiana Lafayette. Mississippi State and South Alabama. I'm going with the Bulldogs. South Alabama's not Bulldogs, are they?
They're the Jaguars.
All right, well, I'm going with the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Mississippi State favored by 15. South Alabama, respectable team this year under Joey Jones, former Alabama wide receiver. So
then we got that quarterback battle at Alabama between Sims and Coker. I'm sure in this game is where they're going to finally decide who the starting quarterback will be for real games going forward after this one. That's my take on it. Like you said, they were auditioning last week.
Real games, Chet, they count in the one.
Oh, they count.
You lose it and see how real people are going to talk about.
What's the odds of Alabama losing that game this week, Bill? Really? Is there even a possibility?
1,000.
That's my point. You proved my point once again, Bill.
Well, I mean,
it's part of.
I mean, that's another discussion. I mean, everybody's got weaker games.
We got Chattanooga coming up, but that's it.
So,
UT
yeah, I mean,
Chet.
I was thinking about actually going down. I don't know if I'm going to go down and watch that.
Going down, taking a nap during that game.
Enjoy the atmosphere of
yeah.
game day.
Yeah. Oh man, that's just. I mean, it's a great place to go watch a football game. There's no question about it. But you
not much of a game going to be. But
that's the type people take their 3, 4, 5-year-old kids to watch. Right? It's relaxed atmosphere. Nothing. No people gritting their teeth
that's
or anything
right.
like that. It's just
just
a walk in the park, as they would say.
From what I hear, the weather's supposed to be in the 70s. Saturday lows in the 50s. I mean that right there is some football weather.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's not bad. It is good. And in Oklahoma, I think it's supposed to be in the 60s for Tennessee Oklahoma game.
Nice.
So LSU and Louisiana Monroe, the Battle of Louisiana. Louisiana Monroe is in Louisiana, right? Are they the Raging Cajuns? Are they the Raging Cajuns? Are they the? Or am I getting them mixed up with Louisiana Lafayette? I'm not sure.
Lafayette's the Cajuns, and they're the.
I don't know what they are.
Something like the Warhawks or something.
I think you're right. I think that's right. I think that's right.
Looks like a bird there.
Well, anyway, again, another game that probably shouldn't be close, right? LSU should waylay them, right? Wouldn't you think so? I think so.
Chop their knees out from under.
I mean, shouldn't be. LSU's favored by 31, right? So, yeah.
That could get ugly. But I mean, they're La Monroe playing their home state power. So
and you realize all these beautiful, wonderful games are on television somewhere. SEC Network.
Ain't it great? Yeah.
Alt 1, Alt 2. Alt 3 or whatever, ESPNU, ESPN, every SEC game is televised. That's a wonderful thing, right?
Yeah, I think we got a game here that Kentucky's taking on Florida. And how long has it been since? I think it's been something like 20-something years since.
I'm sure it has been. I think before Kentucky upset Tennessee a couple of years ago, Tennessee had like the longest streak of any series, continuous series. Like 28, close to 30 games against Kentucky, but not since Tennessee lost that game. I think now it's kind of like maybe Florida and Kentucky, and I think you're right. The 18, they got Florida favored by 18. I guess it's because of Florida's defense, huh? They got a brand new offense. I mean, how you know how good Florida's offense is right now?
I heard some talk about this that folks are going to be maybe talking about Jeff Driscoll. He is the quarterback coming back off injury for the Gators. Some nice stats so far this year, 31 out of 45. And so I don't know. We're going to see a little bit more about Florida.
Probably did that again without a rush against them the other day, right?
Conference game. I don't know. I think this is, if you remember Fred Taylor, I think that's his boy playing Kelvin Taylor, if I'm not mistaken. It's their top running back so far statistically. So, I mean, this could, I wouldn't be
that could be a game.
Kentucky, if this game was in Lexington, be even more interesting. But
if you're thinking in the swamp, the Wildcats are going to get eaten by the Gators. Don't be wading into the swamp if you're a Wildcat this week, right? So
yeah, I mean,
we pretty much covered this week's games in the SEC.
I think we have. I mean, it's a step up. Week 1 was just really good week. A lot of some good games, a lot of enthusiasm. Week 2 last week, kind of a dog, big-time dog this week. So-so, a little bit better.
Well, the Tennessee-Oklahoma game, at least there'll be a national televised game. It's a prime time, 7 o'clock Central Time game with Tennessee-Oklahoma. So
let's talk a little bit, if you want to, nationally. Coming up off last week, we had a little bit of movement in the top 5. Oregon leaped Alabama in the Associated Press poll for what it's worth with a big win over Michigan
Yeah,
State.
and they looked the part. I mean, they beat a good football team, right? So that's why they leaped them.
I can't argue against that.
Michigan State had a really good football team last year and came within a Nats here, right, of being in a championship game, I think, right? They were really good last year, and people expected Michigan State to be good this year. And that game was tight through, part of the third quarter.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden Oregon blew them out. I mean, it just took over the game. Ended up winning that game by 19 points. So that was an impressive win by Oregon. And if I had to pull for somebody outside the conference, I think I'd pull for Oregon to win it all because Oregon's been so close for so many years. I mean, just wouldn't mind seeing the Ducks do it,
I've heard you say that before, but of course I'm not gonna. I don't agree. I think their fan base. They're very supportive and rabid fans out there, but just something about them. It
is California.
It's West Coast, Chet. It's not California, but
Oregon. I'm sorry, Oregon's in Washington, right? No,
we'll have a geography lesson.
Oregon's Oregon, man. Oregon's the Ducks. It's West Coast, but it's the left coast. That's what I'm really trying to say. That makes sense.
They're kind of an arrogant fan base, and I've always took pleasure when they get put in their place by Stanford. They think they're all that, and their uniforms. Maybe that's the Dayglow yellow and all that just gets to me. But anyway, Michigan State come in. Probably definitely the class of the Big 12, which is another thing we could touch on.
Can we change the name to the Little 12? It's about time to change the name to the Little 12.
The Big 10, and there's 12, and they all suck, I think. But Chad, I mean this Big 12.
The Big 12, Little 12, Big 10.
The Big 10.
Let's go back to the Big 10. They took 4 losses on the chin last week, right?
Yeah, I just pulled them up here. Illinois, a bottom feeder in the league, did win against Western Kentucky. Nebraska was a last play winner over McNeese State.
That's embarrassing, right?
I know if they played Nicholls State, that'd be a pretty good game. But Nebraska gets a win. Penn State gets a win over a bad Akron team.
That's Terry Bowden's team there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, they're better than they used to be, but Akron.
But they're still Akron's Akron, right?
Akron's Akron. Purdue loses to Central Michigan. I don't know how you can justify that.
Rutgers played Howard.
Howard and squeaked a win.
13-point win over Howard. Big deal.
Wisconsin, plays a cupcake. Western Illinois wins. Minnesota beats a Middle Tennessee
by only
game.
11 points.
Yeah. Northwestern, here's one they lose to Northern Illinois.
Ball State played Iowa to a 17-13 game. Iowa winning it. This is pitiful.
The marquee losses here coming up. Notre Dame spanked Michigan 31-0.
And shutting a team like Michigan out in today's era of college football is crazy, right? Michigan should never be shut out really by anybody, right? And in Michigan, I say the guy gets fired this year. What do you think? He probably gets fired.
Yeah, I mean, the heat is really turned up. I didn't realize this. Michigan's the first team that's shut out Michigan since 1984.
Notre Dame is first team. Okay.
Notre Dame first to shut out Michigan.
Since 1984? What's that? 30 years?
Mm-hmm. But and then another black eye for the league. Ohio State loses to probably a good,
probably a decent
Tech.
Virginia Tech team, but Ohio State's one of those teams a lot of people are predicting to be in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think you can count the Big Ten out of the playoff picture pretty much. I mean, it takes pretty much make a miracle now.
That's what I'm hearing. I mean, they lost Braxton Miller quarterbacks, Ohio State, but I didn't expect them to drop off the map. But But anyway, what else we need to cover? We got.
We're getting
we got
a pretty long fanatic show tonight. I mean, we're about, for you guys listening, we're up about 45 minutes in this. You're probably well aware of it, and hopefully we've kept you semi-entertained tonight. But other than, see what else we got going on.
Well, just looking ahead. Thursday night we got BYU Houston on the tube. Could be interesting. BYU, who knows?
I don't care nothing about that game. Nothing about it. I'm Dixie Football Fanatics. I don't care nothing about that game. Unless a major school outside of Dixie gets beat, we're kind of good for it, right?
Excuse me.
Who are you for, Bill? You for Dixie football?
I'm a football fan.
I know, but I mean, who matters most to you? It's Dixie football.
I'm Alabama.
I'm Tennessee,
and
baby.
I'm Alabama.
Oh, there you go.
My favorite teams are Alabama 1, Alabama 2.
And Auburn. You like
Whoever's
Auburn?
playing Auburn. Whoever's playing Tennessee.
That's fine with me, man. It doesn't matter to me.
Hey. I hit a nerve.
I'm fine with my fandom. I know who I pull for. Anyway, again, Bill, it's been enjoyable again tonight. I hope you've somewhat enjoyed tonight's show.
Well, except for a little section there where I was being, beat up a little bit about talking about Alabama.
Yeah, listen to it and you'll see.
He
anyway.
spent more time talking about that than he could have been talking about Tennessee, but that's cool because we get fanatical. That's why they call us fanatics.
Anyway, so here's what we're going to do. We've got a new webpage, DixieFootballFanatics.com, which it's under construction. It's going to get better, but you can go there and listen to our show. I'm also going to have the show on ChetandBillShow.com. I'll keep it there until we're satisfied with the Dixie Football Fanatics webpage and maybe have our new logos and designs and things like that. So, and Bill, I think you had renamed our Chet and Bill Show Facebook page?
Yeah, we switched that over to Dixie Football Fanatics on Facebook, and you can go to that and Chet, maybe we can get some of your friends to like us, but yeah, I mean that's
they got to like me first.
Who is that guy?
Hey, we've got also the Twitter. We have a Twitter which we really never utilize like we should, but it was renamed too to Dixie FB Fanatics. FB standing for football for those of you in Rio Linda. Dixie FB Fanatics. You got that one?
Is that one you just set up? Or is that
I renamed the one we had. It was so we got our old friends.
If I can figure out how to sign on to it, maybe
I'll tell you how.
Tweet a little bit.
Tweet.
Because I like me some tweeting every now and then.
Tweet here, tweet there, tweet everywhere, tweet. Anyway, there you go.
Don't break into a song.
Don't break into
Old
a song.
McDonald or something.
All right, I won't do that tonight. So, all right, guys. Bill, take us out.
All right, Chet, cue up the music. We're going to call it a night here on week 2 of Dixie Football Fanatics, and we appreciate you giving us a listen. And like Chet said, we're pretty easy to find on our webpage, and you can access us there or through Facebook. So DixieFootballFanatics.com. Tell your friends, and we'll be back next week with more Dixie football talk. Enjoy your football weekend, everybody. See you, Chet.
See you, Bill.